All righty. Yeah, the microphone's working. Hey. Okay. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. Finally got my microphone problem solved. Hey! Yeah. Microphone failed me again, so I think from now on, every time I start setting things up, I got to have my microphone plugged in, and then I can go live. It's sometimes I type all this stuff up and everything, and I get ready to go live, and then I plug my microphone in, and then I have a problem. So I think before I start typing all the stuff on YouTube and all this, I think I have to have my microphone plugged in now. I have no idea. All of a sudden, I mean, it's been fine for by like past year or so, but now all of a sudden it is what it is, but what are you going to do? Good. That's good to hear. Glad at least you can hear me. That's cool. Thank goodness. Oh boy. All right. So, hey, before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, there's a top link in the description box. Takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to it. So if you want to help support my channel, I thank you, and it means so much to me. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And then finally, also in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group, and I say this in every video. Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook page, which I'll go over in just a minute. It's all basically called the same thing. It's like the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It just dumbs everything down for a moron like me. That way I can remember. It's not like, what's my page called? What's the group? Is a group called something different than my YouTube channel? It's all called the same thing. It just dumbs it down for me. What do we have? We're over 4,200 members in the group. All right. And basically what it is after I get done going live here, I'll probably spend like the next couple hours putting stuff in the group and in the page. I try to get about 10 different things every day in there, whether it's a post, a picture, I'm sharing an article, just showing some stats on a ball player, a video, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? I try to get up to 10 different things every day in there if I can. And not only, if you become a member, not only do I post stuff in here, but the members post stuff in here as well, too. Right? So there's a ton of New York Giants information going in to the group every day. Then the second Facebook link, it takes you to my, it's my Facebook page. Once again, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's my page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one that posts in here. But it's basically the same thing. I try to get up to 10 different things in here every day if I can. Same thing. Once I get done going live, between the group and the page, I try to get up to 10 different things, in the page and in the group every day. Once again, whether it's a video, a post, I'm just sharing an article, something's just showing some stats on a ball player. Once again, stuff making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, right? What are we at? We're over 2,300 likes on the page, and we're at over 7,100 followers. So it's really doing good. Really, really doing good. And basically, I don't commingle this stuff. So basically, I try to keep the stuff separate. So whatever I put in the page, I don't put in the group. And whatever I put in the group, for the most part, I don't put in the page. Unless I see something that's really, really funny that maybe makes fun of the Eagles, then I just got to share it with everybody, right? But other than that, I just try to keep the stuff separate. That way, so if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member of the group, there's a ton New York Giants information every day, 7 days a week. Pretty much, if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in there, right? And like I also say too, because some people are not totally satisfied. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back. Guaranteed. All right. All that stuff said now. Well, I'll tell you what. Hey, is there anything super special go on today, huh? Boy, I'll tell you, it was rather, surprising that it wasn't so much. What would you say? That he showed up, or it was basically more. It was like the surprising thing was that they wind up like redoing or adding the incentives, I guess, to his tag, and apparently that had not happened right since I think it was I saw it was like 2005. The what was it? Edgerrin James, I believe it was. I mean, stuff like this just does not really happen very often. That they changed the added some incentives to his deal. I'm trying to see here. I got a couple of. No, that's not it. Where was it at? Somewhere around here. I know it said. I mean, because it's like rare that it winds up happening. Okay, the last time it happened was in 2005 when the Colts added some incentive to Edgerrin James' one-year deal, according to former Jets general manager and ESPN analyst Mike Tannenbaum. So, so we're going back almost like 20 years since something like this has happened. So that's kind of the surprising thing. But I mean, apparently, what I was also reading is like he showed he was there, be like 8 o'clock in the morning, and guys were like coming in, expecting. I mean, like I think they were just taking physicals and stuff like that and all today. But apparently, some guys are coming in, and Saquon's already there, and they were kind of like taken back a little bit that he was there. But I mean, it's the 10.1 million, all right. But then, of course, with salary, his salary, he's got $2 million signing bonus. So instead of basically, which wound up, pretty good. But now, if it was just a regular franchise tag, it would have been $10.1 million, right? And he would have been basically, I think, what is it? Like, I think I saw it was like $560,000. Would have been, each paycheck would have been like 560. I got so many tabs open up here. So he would have had to wait basically for, each game to come, and then he would get a paycheck, and then he would, another game, he would get another paycheck and all. But I mean, it's all guaranteed. So each week, each game, you get a guaranteed paycheck. But at least with the signing bonus, they're giving him some money right up front, some cash in pocket right up front. And then, of course, then there's the incentives. He's got the 3 incentives, which, okay, $303,000 a piece for each incentives. Interesting. But the Giants also have to make the playoffs as well. And at first, I thought I saw one of the incentives was 1,300 rushing yards. But apparently, from what I'm seeing now, these were all likely to be unlikely. I'm sorry. I can talk. I promise. These 3 incentives are all categorized as unlikely to be earned because the year before he did not earn these. Now, the one incentive is 65 receptions. Now, he's blown that out of the water before in his rookie season. Now, of course, that was when Pat Shurmur was here, but he had 57 receptions last year, right? So he is 65 receptions. He'll get $303,000, but the Giants also have to make the playoffs. So that's an unlikely to be earned incentive because last year he did not do it. Another unlikely to be earned incentive would be 11 total touchdowns, and they have to make the playoffs. Why is that unlikely? Because last year he had 10. 1,350 rushing yards. Once again, unlikely to be earned incentive because was it like he had 1,312 last year. So once again, it's not something he earned. He did not accomplish that feat the year before. So they're all unlikely to be earned. So the nice thing about that is that if Saquon were to, he could do all of that. He could do them all. 11 total touchdowns, 65 receptions, 1,350 rushing yards. Oh yeah, he can. Those are things he can accomplish. But once again, also we have to, make the playoffs. But the beauty of it, okay, is, as far as with the Giants, where their salary cap, okay, is that they're unlikely to be earned. So meaning that if he, I'm just throwing it out there. That's all I'm doing. Say he goes stark wild bananas the first 4 weeks, he gets 3 touchdowns each game. Boom, he's got 12 touchdowns. Well, he just got himself an incentive. Well, I mean, if he makes the playoffs still, right? But the beauty of it is the unlikely to be earned incentive goes on next year's salary cap. So it's not like, if he gets the $909,000, right? $909,000 from the incentives. And, of course, we have to make the playoffs. That does not hit this year's salary. It goes toward next year's salary cap. So, but I mean, it's something he could do. This is probably a bridge for a longer-term deal. Cautious optimism heading into the season. We must stay healthy. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yes, staying healthy, but then, of course, we're going to go over I'm going to Dan Dierdorf, yeah. The plethora of guys starting on the PUP list there. Oh, man. And, of course, then not to mention, obviously, Jared Davis, who's boom, gone for the season, right? So, Dan Dierdorf, yeah. That's the first time I ever heard somebody say plethora. So, every time I get a chance to say the word plethora, I try to do it. But, so, I mean, those, he could certainly obtain those incentives. He got cash up front. And the nice thing is, too, is possibly, if they were to do something like this next season, once again, does not give him the long-term security, which he's looking for. However, right, next year, if they franchise tag him, he's going to get another $2 million. So, I mean, the franchise tag goes from 10.1 to 12 I guess it'd be 12.1, I guess it would, because it goes up 20%. So he's guaranteed more money next season. And they could do something like the same thing. They could maybe give him if they were to do that. That's all I'm saying. I can give him another $2 million signing bonus. So he would have cash right up front. He's guaranteed $12.1 million. Then they could give him some incentives. Once again, if we reach the playoffs and you do this, this, and this, you can make $13 million. But of course, what he's looking for is he wants some long-term, at least 3 or 4 years, some stability to instead of like a 1-year deal and then, okay, I have to do it again, another 1-year deal, So he's a Michigan guy, well educated. Yeah. Oh yeah, Dan Dierdorf. Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. I know. Oh, I know he's because I remember a lot of times on Monday Night Football, he would talk about sometimes like Michigan, but he also talk about Notre Dame too. But he I don't know, he always like tried to downgrade Notre Dame because he was from Michigan and all of that and everything. But oh yeah, he's a smart dude, very smart dude. Let's see here. So with Saquon says, but the first $2 million will be paid within 2 weeks instead of being divided evenly over the course of 18 weeks, which would be, I think I read was like $560,000 for each week. So, and now with the 560, I don't even know. I don't know if, they take the taxes out and he winds up with $302,000. I don't even know. But, so instead of 18 weeks, you get a $560,000 with or without the taxes. He gets $2 million right up front. Of course, and then the incentives will reward him for a great season that propels the Giants into contention, sources said. So Barkley, 26, will receive $303,000 apiece if the Giants make the playoffs and he reaches the 3 individual markers. Says no playoffs, no bonuses, regardless of his statistics. So if he rushes for 2,800 yards and we don't make the playoffs, you get nada or none of the incentives. None of these count against the 2023 salary cap because all are considered unlikely to be earned given that they are higher thresholds than Barkley reached last season. If earned, they will count toward the 2024 cap. So, and the Giants will have more money, obviously, next season. I mean, right now, they only have like maybe around $3 million or so. So I haven't checked it lately, but they got maybe, they don't have a boatload of money left. Says the possibility of prohibiting the Giants from placing a second franchise tag on Barkley in 2024 was on the table, but proved to be a sticking point that might have dragged out talks and delayed the co-captain's return, sources said. So Barkley made the significant concession that the Giants can tag him again next season for $12.1 million with the same $909,000 in incentives, carrying over to raise the max value to $13 million per CBS.com. Per CBS.com contracts expert Joel Corey, and maintain all the leverage and continued negotiations next offseason if they choose. Prior to getting tagged in March, now I've heard different things, but Barkley rejected a deal worth $13 million per year that included just 19. I mean that's the thing, $13 million per season. But they only offered him, $19.5 million guaranteed. I mean, that's just way too low. I mean, God, he's getting $10 million this year, and next year, I mean, if he gets franchise tag again, I mean, that's $22.2 million guaranteed for just 2 seasons instead of 19.5. Says after the tag, Barkley's representatives asked the Giants to shop him around the league, which I'm going to go over in just a minute here, to shape a fair market, but the request was denied because the team deemed Barkley too valuable to trade. Furthermore, the Giants turned away at least 2 trade inquiries, the Post has learned. Barkley turned down a 3-year contract with an average annual of $11 million and $23 million guaranteed last week, sources said. The sides were less than $2 million apart on a multi-year extension at the end, but neither budged. So, and it's funny too. I mean, I'm certainly not saying that Saquon listened or anything like that, but I did hear Carl Banks talking. I didn't hear Otis Anderson saying anything, but I said former Giants great Otis Anderson and Carl Banks. Yes, they are 2 former greats, absolutely. Carl Banks is a team-employed radio analyst. Publicly urged Barkley to reconsider the holdout that he recently admitted to contemplating on the Money Matters podcast. Carl Banks said, "Don't become a principled fool." That's what he said. And actually, he was talking with Bob Papa, and as soon as he said that, Bob Papa kind of chuckled a little bit. He said, "My dad said that to me a long time ago." So apparently, Bob Papa heard that term before too. Giants fans on social media rejoiced that both Shane held his ground and that Barkley proved to live up to his team-first football over business image. But I'm saying, I mean, also the thing is too, I mean, what do we got? No, Miami. Well, I don't know if you meant the Bears, but they shopped them or possibly couple teams called, and one of them was Miami. The Dolphins. I don't know who the other one was. They didn't say in the article, which I'm going to go over. But the one that, I mean, like with Saquon, I mean, just him, his image, and all that stuff and everything. I mean, and I know that you listen to the athletes, and I can understand. It's not if they make $10 trillion in incentives, or not incentives. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. Marketing and all that. Right? That's not included. You know what I mean? They don't include that. I mean, it's football. How much money am I making on football, and how much money am I making for my endorsements and all that and everything? So I said, if they make $1 trillion on endorsements, that doesn't matter. It's all, what am I making? You know what I mean? I get it. I understand. But it's all, he's going to do well. I mean, without question, he's going to do well with his endorsements. I mean, you see him sometimes on a lot of commercials. He does very well for himself. He's a handsome dude, well spoken. He's a model athlete, a model teammate, model citizen, all of this stuff. I mean, it's just his face. He puts people in the stands. He puts rear ends in the seats, and the guy's got to do. I'm sure he can do very, very well for himself. With endorsements and all that stuff and everything. The fish too would have. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad he's back. Yeah. So, now we got, obviously, of course, this will be the big storyline next year. What's Saquon going to do? So once the season starts, coming to an end, after the Giants win the Super Bowl, the day after they win they'll probably be talking about the parade and all that. But after the Giants win the Super Bowl and they have their parade, the next day, 8:01 in the morning, the stories will be out. Well, will Saquon sit out the whole season? Will he tell the Giants to go F themselves? But that'll be the big story. But at least what do we got? At the end of August, right? End of September, end of October, end of November, end of December, end of January, right? So we got, hopefully about 6 months before we won't have to hear any Saquon Barkley contract kind of whatever, right? So hopefully we have ourselves some time, right? But once the season's over with, that's going to be one of the first things people are going to be coming up with. And then, of course, since we're talking the New York Giants, we have to talk injuries. And here we go. All right. Now, of course, makes sense. Bringing, Cole Beasley. And why do we just brought Cole Beasley, and why do we have 1,387 slot receivers? Why is it? Well, funny you should mention that. Now, of course, the guys being on PUP in training camp is different than being kind of PUP on the regular season. But obviously Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson will both be working their way back from ACL tears, so they're starting on PUP. So the Giants announced Tuesday afternoon that 6 players will start camp on the PUP list. They're wide receivers Sterling Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson, offensive lineman Marcus McKeithen. It's almost been about a year for him because he went down in that the Fan Fest, I believe it was. So the Fan Fest should be in a few weeks, right? Maybe about a month. So maybe it's been about 11 months for him. So hopefully he'll be coming back soon. But defensive lineman A'Shawn Robinson, who's got the meniscus tear, or had the procedure. I think he's coming back from that. DJ Davidson and cornerback Aaron Robinson, and this guy's got. You hear and you hope and you pray and this stuff and blah blah blah, all that stuff and everything, nothing but good things. And I can't wait for you to get on the field. Once again, your best ability is your availability. That guy's got to stay healthy. He has been nothing but injured. I pulled it up here. You don't need a calculator to add up amount of snaps he's played. His first season, okay, if you want to call it that, 268 snaps on defense. Last season, 72 snaps. But of course, the 72 snaps, 62 of it came in the first game of the season. Then he played 10 snaps against the Bears, and that was it. No mas for the whole season, right? Let's see here. What did he do? Can I click on that? Nah. All right, let's go back to 2021 here. 2021 was, he came in and he had the core muscle surgery, I believe it was, coming in. So he missed basically like the whole first half of the season. So he came in week 8, right? So he played week 8, 9. I guess maybe we had a bye maybe on week 10, but then he played 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. But, weeks 8 and 9, he only played in a grand total of 16 snaps. This is in 2021. Week 16 against Philly, he only played 2 snaps. The final game of the season against the Redskins. No, was it the Commanders 2 years ago? Was it the Washington football team? I believe it was. So against the Washington football team, 2021, he had 8 snaps. So, he only played 268 snaps. So, he's got to, he's got to stay healthy, but he's coming back from his injury. Aaron Rodgers suffered a partially torn ACL and MCL in week 4. So we have A'Shawn Robinson is working his way back from his torn meniscus that ended his 2022 season in week 11. The Giants also have announced that wide receiver Jamison Crowder has been placed on the non-football injury list, while defensive tackle Vernon Butler has been placed on the reserve did not report list. Players on the PUP list can be activated any time before final cuts. So, which is a little bit different than if they were on the PUP list in the regular season. However, if they aren't activated before final cuts, they'll need to miss the first 4 games before they're eligible to return to practice. So, Shepard tore his ACL in September and underwent surgery to repair it in October. He was on the practice field for minicamp, so he may be closer to a return than Wan'Dale Robinson, who tore his ACL in late November. McKeithen suffered his injury a year ago, just about a year ago. It's right around maybe about 11 months ago. All right. About a year on August 6th. They got the date here. Okay, so on August 6th. So all right, about 11 and a half months. So he could return before final cutdowns. Davidson tore his ACL on October 22nd. Vernon Butler sat out minicamp and was an undisclosed injury and did not report to camp. On the positive side, so hey, there's actually some positive sides here to it. Linebacker Darian Beavers and wide receiver Colin Johnson will not start the camp on PUP. Good. I'm very anxious to see those 2 guys back there, especially because what they had been doing in training camp last season. Let's see, can they continue? All right. Beavers tore his ACL in last year's preseason, while Colin Johnson tore his Achilles around the same time. Both are expected to compete for significant roles in their respective units. So, very anxious to see those guys out there. I mean, without question. I mean, of course, if we're talking to Giants, you got to be talking. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, very, very happy. I mean, as I said, I mean, the 2 years, was it 2020 and 2021? He had like 82 receptions with the Bills. I mean, that's when, Shane and Dable there. That was when, obviously Dable was there, right? Now, of course, you got Josh Allen throwing the ball. So that's all, Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, maybe a little different animal there. But, I mean, Cole, he didn't have a very good season last year. He only played in a few games, didn't have many receptions. But, I mean, those 2 seasons, I mean, he had, I guess, 164 catches in 2 seasons. When he's been around, so 2014 or 2013. So, I mean, he's got some, he's got some age to him. But, I mean, I think it's a real good solid pick. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't going to be expensive, especially if Jamison Crowder's not there, Wan'Dale Robinson and Sterling Shepard. So, I mean, I think it was a real good ad for the Giants without question. Then I saw this here, which is one of the things. But Miami, right? The Dolphins tried to trade for Saquon Barkley. Now, apparently, and also they're in the Dalvin Cook market as well, too, apparently. So Dalvin Cook apparently isn't the only high-profile running back the Miami Dolphins have looked to acquire in 2023. I mean, could you imagine, right, with Waddle? I mean, of course, the quarterback situation's got to be stable. Hopefully, if I don't even care if Tua throws a touchdown pass or not. I hope the freaking guy just stays healthy. I mean, my God, my goodness. I mean, whew. But anyway, I mean, could you imagine? I mean, Tyreek Hill out there, Waddle, and Saquon in the backfield. Wow, that's some special talent. Let me tell you what. It says the Miami have been, for a while, considered one of the leading contenders to land the services of free agent Dalvin Cook. But a new report indicates that they tried to acquire another high-profile running back in 2023. Dolphins made a trade offer to the Giants. supposedly, for Saquon Barkley in the offseason after he was franchise tag and negotiations on a long-term contract got off to a bad start, according to a story in the New York Post citing league sources. From the Post story, the Giants turned down 2 offers called into them by teams who since have been shown to be in the market for other top running backs, including the Dolphins, league sources said. What we got here. The Dolphins are reportedly the Dolphins also reportedly contacted the Vikings to inquire about the trade for Dalvin Cook in the offseason, long before Cook was released. So I'll tell you what, it's a good thing that they didn't have to. That's like a kick right in the pants there. If you got to want if you make a trade for somebody and if you would just like hold your water, about a week or so later he just winds up getting released, so you don't have to wind up trading anybody for him. But say Barkley signed a 1-year deal. We know that, right? A common, let's see here. So, interesting. It said the Dolphins are running back. What's unclear about the Post story is that the exact timing of the Dolphins' reported offer. The Dolphins entered the offseason with all 4 running backs from their 2022 team with expiring contracts, and they ended up re-signing all 4 of them. So, but I mean, there's nobody there that's really just super duper phenomenal here. So for good measure, the Dolphins added speedy running back Devon Oshane in the 3rd round of the 2023 draft with their second of 4 selections. Dolphins running game ranked tied for 25th last season in yards per game, so not very good. Head coach Mike McDaniel said in the offseason that the issue with the running back or the running game wasn't so much the backs, but rather injuries on the offensive line, which is true, and a lack of commitment to sticking with the ground game, which is that's true too. I mean, you just can't. I mean, with a lot of teams, I mean, especially trying to run the ball, I mean, you just can't. All of a sudden, we'll just, I mean, with a lot of teams, you just can't. We'll just start running the ball in the 3rd quarter, and we'll pick up 140 yards rushing for the game. No, I mean, a lot of it, especially like you see sometimes with the Giants, you hand the ball off to Saquon, he gets a yard or 2 yards. Then you maybe whatever the next series, you hand it again, he gets 2 yards. Then he gets a yard, and you're like, what the F are we doing? Then in the 2nd quarter, he gets 3 yards in a carry, and then he gets another 2 yards, and he gets 3 yards. You're like, what the F are we doing? We're down 14-3, like with Tennessee, right? What are we doing? What are we getting to? What are we doing? Come on, throw that baby, right? And then in the 3rd quarter, it goes to 4 and 5 yards a carry, and 4 and 5 yards a carry, and 4 or 5 yards a carry, and then the defense is, after play is over, they kind of hands on hips, and then the 4th quarter rolls around, and then all of a sudden that crease gets a little bit bigger, and maybe I forgot how far he went on that one. I think. Well, actually, it wasn't couldn't have been in the 4th quarter. Was it the 3rd quarter? I think it was right in the 3rd quarter. He took one around the edge and ran down the sideline for a long gainer. But I mean, that's what winds up happening. I mean, in the beginning, it's like, because some teams, like maybe with the Derrick Henry or somebody like that, I mean, you can, if they got a phenomenal offensive line, right? I mean, you can hand the ball off the first time and boom, he's 6 yards, hand it off to him again, boom, 5 yards, first down. All right, running game's going, baby. Here we go. I mean, you hand them off again and they just, maybe they stack it up for 1 yard, but then they hand it off again. He gets 6 yards, there's not many teams that can do stuff like that nowadays. I mean, but that's the commitment, as well you're not scoring any points and you might be falling behind by a touchdown or 10 points and you keep handing the ball off in the 1st and 2nd quarter and you're getting 2 yards at a shot and everybody's like me pulling my hair out. What are we doing? But in the 3rd quarter, those 2-yard gains go to 3 and 4 yard gains. And then in the 4th quarter, hands on hips, and then, then you get the 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever yard gains, but that's the commitment. But a lot of teams don't do that, or this was just so pass happy nowadays, or also, you teeter in a fine line there too, because it's like, okay, we're going to stay committed to the run. Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, but now it's the 4th quarter and we're down 27-3. The commitment to the run's not, so you got to teeter that fine line. You want to maybe try to stay committed to the run, but you got to stay in the ball game too. So, but I'm just happy to Saquon's back. That's fantastic. Was it 7? Yeah, was it that long? I mean, that was good. And then I think he got ran out of bounds. I think it was whatever down the field. But oh yeah, that was one of those commitment to the runs kind of thing. I mean, especially in the first half, I'm like, oh my God. I was just kind of hoping like after halftime, I'm like, man, I hope we don't lose like by like 30 points or something here. You know what I mean? Can we lose like maybe by maybe like 10? Can we look kind of respect? Maybe like I'm thinking, well, maybe we lose like 24-13. Is that a good score to lose by opening? Because we stink. We can't do nothing. We're in Tennessee. We're gonna lose because we stink. We haven't won anything in about 35 years. Yeah, 24. Maybe we can score a touchdown. Maybe. Is that asking too? I'm thinking. Is that asking too much if we can score a touchdown? I mean, am I being too greedy? We got a new coach. We stink. I was like halftime. I'm like, what would be a good score to lose by? But they commitment. We actually slowed them down in the second half and all that, and we came back. And I'll tell you what, that long pass to Sterling Shepard, Rabel coached a bad game that day. Yeah, I mean, the long one to Sterling Shepard, we did a long one to Barkley, the 2-point conversion. Barkley slipped in there. Then, of course, I mean, I'll say Rabel too, but I mean, whoever their kicker was, they missed the one field goal at the end of the game. I don't know if you want to say he choked or whatever, but he just missed it. But so they certainly could have won that. Dable showed he was ready to be head coach. I mean, as I said, I brought this up before. I mean, Daniel Jones threw the interception in the end zone. I think Saquon was out there. I think he was trying to throw maybe a back shoulder fade to Saquon, but I forgot who the guy that intercepted the pass was. But I think the only one who was ready for the pass was the defender. That's what it looked like. But then, after that, that's when you saw Dable approach Jones on the sideline and kind of going, pointing this and that. And then they, I think they asked him after the game, what'd you say to Dan? What'd you say to Daniel Jones? And he said something. I saw Daniel Jones said, yeah, I threw the pass because I saw this situation or something. Dave was like, yeah, that's not what I saw, But it was nice to see that, he went over there and he kind of nipped it right in the bud, whatever the problem was or whatever. And then, but I mean, you also look at it like after that one interception. So he didn't play the last game. So he only played 16 games. So after that interception, right? So he played the next 15 games, only threw 4 interceptions. Of course, he didn't throw a ton of touchdown passes either. But I mean, after that one back shoulder fade, they tried to Saquon, I guess that went awry, right? He only threw 4 interceptions. So he did pretty good. I love that Dable last drive. Yeah, we're going for 2. Yeah. And then, of course, I think Dable went over to he went up to the defenders too. He said, we're going for 2. And he said one of them or a couple of them said, F yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they love that. I mean, instead of like, yo, you sit down. I'm calling. I got this. If we're going for 2, it's my call. I ain't worried about you guys. You know what I mean? So, whether he was going to go for it or not, if they said no, who knows? But at least he went back there and he explained to them. Plus that's one of those calls. It kind of like would have been like possibly all or nothing. You go over 2, boom, you shovel pass it to Saquon. There was a couple of guys he had to elude. He finally got in there. As soon as he landed in the end zone, throws the ball over his head. Brian went in the 38th row to stands. But you can also see, like, if they try to shovel pass and it didn't work or something like that, you can see him just get massacred by the, what's he doing? First of all, you're, you can see some of these morons, first of all, you're on the road, right? You go for one, you try to tie it up and you try to win it. What is this shovel pass stuff? What are you, a moron? I mean, you can certainly see guys doing like that. So I'm really happy it panned out. But, I guess the defense, there was a good pass. Tannenbaum, what's his name? Not Tannenbaum, the quarterback for the Titans. Was it Tannenbaum? Whatever his name is. He threw a good pass. He which kind of got him in field goal range. Tannehill. There you go. Thank you. Kind of got him in. I think I think Holmes was covering. He threw a pass. It was the guy caught the ball like right by the sideline. He was going at it. I mean, Holmes had decent coverage on him. He sucks. He had decent coverage on him. He had a nice touch pass. The guy caught, I can't remember the receiver, but he caught the ball. It was a nice touch pass. It really got him down kind of decently close to field goal range. So, but I mean, hey, you got to make the kicks. It is what it is. You get down there, if you don't make the kicks, you lose. But that was a real breath of fresh air. I mean, not only did we win, but we went on the road against a really good team, and we wound up winning. And not only that, but we came from behind. We took a couple blows from them early on. They went ahead, and it's like, oh, here we go again. But we hung in there, right? And and we managed to fight our way back, right? And we had those couple long plays. Saquon with the long run, Sterling Shepard with the long touchdown reception. So. We hung in there and we wound up winning. So that was a real breath of fresh air, just to be able to go on the road game one and come away with the victory. Whew, that was so fantastic. All right, the Jersey gang. Well, tomorrow, they're not doing any hitting. They're not going to be doing any hitting for I think for about a week or so. But they should be on the field tomorrow. Because today, I think everybody just showed up, and I think it was like physicals and stuff like that. So tomorrow, they should be on the field. I don't know if they'll be in their underwear or not, but maybe they'll have shells on or something or whatever. But I don't think there'll be any hitting for at least a few days. But at least there'll be some guys on the field. So hopefully we'll have some field stuff to talk about, and hopefully we won't be talking about no more injuries. So, so whoever spends any time watching this, thank you. Whoever spends any time at all watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. It really means the world to me. Thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Woo! Oh, yeah.